Without clean water to drink, people become deathly sick, bacterial diseases spread, and the consumers conduct illnesses. Sadly, twice the population of the United States lives without a supply of water that is not contaminated. The amount of people that live without clean water in the world is at 1 in every 10, which is 63 million people. The number of people without a toilet is 1 in every 3, the equivalent of 2.4 billion people. Sub-Saharan Africa is one of the top countries that lack access to clean water. Approximately 319 million people in this part of Africa do not have safe and clean water. The healthcare facilities in Sub-Saharan Africa are extremely limited, with the basic needs such as improved sanitation, lack of soap, and clean water sources for hand washing. In Africa, about 42% of healthcare facilities do not have sources of clean water. Over half the hospital beds in developing countries obtain sickened people from diseases caused by poor water, hygiene, and sanitation. Also, in this part of the world, people only receive 20 liters of water a day, and that is only 1/3 of the water source is clean. Contaminated water results in illnesses and occasionally death. In developing countries, 80% of illnesses are associated with dirty water and poor sanitation. Bacterial diseases form because tiny worms and bacteria live in unclean water. They can be devastating since they cannot be seen, they cannot be avoided. The diseases found in water are not common in developed countries since water is filtered and chlorinated, but many deadly diseases can still occur. The exposure to dirty drinking water, poor sanitation, and the lack of hygiene is the top cause of infections and diseases in the African region. Vomiting and diarrhea are common effects of drinking unclean water. Research has shown that some types of cancer can form if contaminated water is drank for a long period of time. In developing countries, children consuming unclean water are at a great risk. Young children do not have very strong immune systems because they are not yet completely formed. Boiling water reduces the bacteria in it, but since the fuel to start a fire in developing countries is so expensive, the water cannot always be cleaned before it's given to a child. Almost 315,000 children, 5 and younger, die due to diarrhea diseases caused by contaminated water and lack of sanitation. That's about 900 children per day, or 1 every 2 months. In Sub-Saharan Africa, diarrhea is the second biggest killer of children. There are 160 million children suffering from stunting and chronic malnutrition linked to water and sanitation. Many projects have been put into action to try and reduce these numbers. Organizations such as WaterAid and the Water Project have had many achievements. For example, WaterAid have reached over 220 people an hour receiving safe water. Also, in 1981, they have helped 25 million people get clean water. The Water Project has built many wells to give people a clean water source. Unlike the United States, many poor developing countries do not have acts such as the Safe Drinking Water Act and the Clean Water Act. Studies show that an involved and powerful woman can make water projects 6 to 7 times more effective.